Some people don't experience life directly. They experience it through thought. Before a moment fully lands, it has already been analyzed, questioned, and quietly stored away for later reflection. These are deep thinkers, not because they want to be different, but because their minds never learned how to be shallow. From an early age, deep thinkers develop an internal world that feels safer than the external one. They observe before they speak. They listen more than they reveal. And while others move through life reacting, they move through life interpreting. A deep thinker doesn't just see a sunset. They see time passing. They don't just hear silence. They hear questions forming. Psychologically, this comes from heightened introspection, a trait where the mind is constantly scanning both the outer world and the inner self. Every interaction becomes data. Every emotion becomes a signal. Nothing is wasted. Their brains spend a lot of time in what psychology calls the default mode network, the system responsible for reflection, imagination, memory, and meaning-making. This is why their minds feel busiest when the world goes quiet. Silence doesn't calm them, it activates them. Deep thinkers engage in metacognition, thinking about thinking itself. They don't just feel sad, they analyze why they feel sad. They don't just believe something, they question how that belief was formed. This creates extraordinary self-awareness. But it also creates doubt. Because when you can see multiple sides of every truth, certainty becomes fragile. Deep thinkers often live in existential territory. They don't just ask what they are doing, they ask why existence works the way it does at all. They think about time, death, identity, and consciousness, not as abstract ideas, but as personal questions that never fully leave them. Emotionally, they are complex. They can feel gratitude and grief at the same time, love mixed with disappointment, hope wrapped in realism. Their emotional and analytical brain regions are deeply connected, so they don't just feel emotions, they process them. Feelings become information, pain becomes insight. But this depth comes at a cost. Deep thinkers are often misunderstood. Their pauses are mistaken for disinterest. Their silence is mistaken for coldness. In reality, they are simply thinking before speaking, measuring truth instead of filling space. Small talk drains them, not because they dislike people, but because surface-level interaction feels like starvation. They crave conversations that explore meaning, fear, dreams, contradictions. They want to know how someone really sees the world, and when they don't find that depth, they retreat. Overthinking is their shadow, because when your mind sees nuance everywhere, it rarely shuts off. What-ifs loop endlessly. Past conversations replay. Future scenarios multiply. Rest becomes difficult. Presence becomes rare. While others live mostly in the present moment, deep thinkers often exist in 3 timelines at once, revisiting the past, analyzing the now, and imagining the future simultaneously. This makes them vulnerable. Deep thinkers tend to assume others operate with the same honesty and depth. They expect meaning where there may be none. They expect emotional awareness where there may be avoidance. And when reality doesn't match that expectation, the disappointment cuts deeper. They struggle with simple answers, not because they want to complicate things, but because they can see too many perspectives at once. Choosing sides feels dishonest when truth feels layered. Yet this same struggle is also their gift. Deep thinkers are creators, philosophers, artists, innovators. History's most influential minds were rarely the loudest. They were the ones who observed quietly and questioned relentlessly.
They act as bridges between logic and empathy. They can analyze pain without dismissing it. They can critique systems while still caring about the people inside them. They question traditions not out of rebellion, but out of love for truth. They are driven by understanding, not dominance. Many deep thinkers use humor not to escape reality, but to reveal its absurdity. They see irony where others see routine. Laughter becomes wisdom disguised as lightness. And solitude. Solitude is their native language. Not loneliness, but chosen aloneness. In solitude, their nervous system relaxes, their thoughts organize, their identity reconnects with itself. Solitude is where they restore clarity, not where they hide. If you are a deep thinker, you may have been told you're too quiet, too serious, too sensitive, too intense. But the truth is, the world needs people who see what others overlook, who question what others accept, who feel deeply in a culture that often avoids feeling altogether. You were not built for speed, you were built for depth. And depth always looks strange in a shallow world. So don't apologize for thinking deeply. Don't shrink your inner world to make others comfortable. The ability to see the invisible, to question the obvious, and to find meaning where others see none, that is not a flaw. That is your contribution.